Hello everybody, this is TryandWear412 taking a look at the game Your Eternal Reward, played on webdiplomacy.net. I played as Austria. My plan was to take the Balkan supply centers, those four there, and then from there, depending on who was the weakest at the time, to branch out and attack each of my neighbors successively to get myself to these centers. That's 17 and is the control of the southern half of a stalemate position. So from here I could have held out indefinitely, and there are several centers just across that border, and I only would have needed one of those four that just highlighted to take the win. So we will take a look and see how that worked out for me. Things started out fairly well for me. I had made friendly contact with all of my neighbors right off the bat. Germany particularly surprised me a little bit, sending me a message saying that he had warned Russia that if Russia attacked Galicia, that Germany, would block Russia out of Sweden in the fall. That's the first I've ever heard of something like that, and I thought it was fantastic. It really gave me the freedom to do with all of my units really what I wanted. So I was able to move into position to take Serbia and then Greece while still covering Trieste, not to have to worry about an attack from the north. So that was pretty good. I was unsure for this first year or so really what the relationship between Russia and Turkey was, whether they were allies trying to hide a juggernaut alliance, or if they were legitimately not working together. You see here the Russian fleet actually takes Black Sea, which really raises a lot of questions, but those get answered as time moves on. I am able to take Greece. I am able to vacate Trieste so that I can build a fleet if I would like, but I do not actually end up doing that. You also see of note over here in the west, Germany has attacked France, and also England and France are fighting. From what I know, Germany and England weren't working together. This just is something that ends up working out in Germany's favor in the long run, but lots of fighting going on over there in the very first year. So I do open up that center for a fleet, but I don't build one. I go ahead and build an army because, as I said, my first goal was to push into the Balkans, and I didn't want to anger Italy right away. So I'm able to push my way into Romania. Also, I do take Galicia here in the spring of '02 because I think that's a fairly important territory to hold if one wants to fight as Austria against Russia. So I do get in there, and also, you'll see in the fall, make an attempt at Bulgaria. I am not successful in the fall, but this coming spring I will make it in there. Also, you see Italy has decided for something similar to the Lepanto attack, moving his fleets into the eastern part of the Mediterranean to move against Turkey, and he has cleared out that army that was in Venice. Excuse me. Nothing terribly exciting at the end of that year. You see Germany doing very well. Here in the spring, as I said, I am able to take Bulgaria, so I have in 2.5 years or 3 years taken all the Balkans, which was the first step in my initial plan. But then we run into problems here in the fall of '03. You see Germany taking Warsaw, also taking Edinburgh from England, and moving in and taking Norway. Ends up taking Norway from Russia, but there was an English unit there, so England probably made a deal with Germany. I'll give you Norway if you leave my home centers intact, which Germany reaps the benefits from. That puts Germany to 11 centers in 3 years, which is far too fast as far as growth goes. England and France kept fighting each other because I really don't know why. So Germany able to do very, very well in his particular theater. And especially with him moving into Warsaw, he has now trespassed, you could say, into my territory that I hoped to take for a win. And so starting in fall '03, I start talking to all the other nations about trying to set up a stalemate position so that we can stop Germany from taking a solo win. That goes all right for me. Everybody seems to be agreeable, but that doesn't really end up happening. Russia disbands the unit that he had been asked to disband, but rather than moving his units around so that he could hold Warsaw, Moscow, Sevastopol, rather than St. Petersburg, Moscow, Sevastopol, he kind of does his own thing. He's very unpredictable. Also, Italy refuses to stop fighting with Turkey. He will not move west to make the stalemate position. And also, France and England refuse to stop fighting. All France had to do to get a good stalemate position down here was to allow England into Portugal, and that he just would not do. So it was very difficult getting everybody to agree, and finally, rather than dealing with Russia, I decided maybe I can just attack and take those 3 centers for myself. Also, you see here I move these armies into position on the line, and I have to help Italy against Turkey, hoping that we can eliminate Turkey and Italy will finally turn around. So I build more armies, get what I can of my stalemate line set up, and you see in '05 I continue fighting with Russia. This was probably my downfall, because in this position, if I had decided to be nice and use Sevastopol to support Moscow, Russia may have stayed on good terms with me, and I may have been able to hold this line. But I continue to attack him, trusting that Germany will stop fighting with me and will allow me to get into Moscow. But that does not happen. You see over here, France does not ever allow England into Portugal, and so now France is contending with German units taking his southern centers here. In the fall, finally, you see Italy takes Constantinople. He's going to build a fleet with that, which we can use to hopefully set up our stalemate position. But that does not go as planned either. You see here Italy supports me into Smyrna. All a part of my plan. I was hoping once I got the line set up here, I could get a few of these Turkish centers. Once Turkey was eliminated, having my line set here, I would turn, take the Italian holdings in Turkey, and then move through Italy as well. Still hoping, even at this late point, to set up not just a stalemate, but also possibly a solo for myself. But here, when Italy gets kicked out of Constantinople, he does not retreat and instead goes into civil disorder. He drops out of the game. Make a deal with Turkey at this point, and I move away, move this fleet out where it can support Italian holds, and things fall apart in the north. Russia, apparently sick of my constant attacks, does the one thing I don't want him to do, which allows Germany to take out Warsaw. So with that, I kind of lose my stalemate position in the north, and things get even worse. The next year, when Italy comes back, whether it's a new Italy or the same Italy that had left before, he comes back and instead of standing on the stalemate line, falls back and moves into a position not only to defend himself but to attack my exposed centers down here, which was no good. At this point, Germany is so close to a solo, it is ridiculous. He can easily and certainly get himself to 17 by reclaiming Spain, taking Marseille, and taking St. Petersburg. And so, being the vindictive person I am, I tell him I'm falling back to cover all my centers, and that I will use Sevastopol to support him into Moscow, because I would love for him to win at Russia's expense. So he takes that support. The game ended in 07 with a German 18 center solo. Not the way I would have wanted the game to end, but a very exciting game diplomatically, I thought, with all of the goings-on starting in 03 with the stalemate and attempting to set that up, but also attempting to win. I thought the game was great, and Germany as an adversary and a neighbor I thought was very fun to play with. Germany and Turkey very much were fun people to play with. Everybody else as well. A little frustrated with Italy and Russia, but that is to be expected, I suppose. Great game. If anybody has any questions or comments, I would love to hear them. And thanks for watching.